Hello, everyone. My name is Aaron Pallian. I'm one of the owners at Extreme Endurance Events. I'm also a race director, co-race director for events like Alaska Man, Island Extreme Triathlon, and Alohaman Extreme Triathlon. So today I want to talk to you guys, coming from our YouTube channel, I want to talk to you guys about the mandatory and recommended gear for Alohaman, which is our extreme triathlon on the Big Island of Hawaii. So we're going to go over that. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Extreme Endurance Events. Our website is extremetries.com. This is one in just a line of webinars going over certain sections of the website, things that need a little more in-depth talk and explanation for the athletes and prospective athletes that are looking to possibly even do the event. So up at the top of the website, you can see here that there's different sections for the races. We'll go over to Hawaii and go down to mandatory gear. So for Hawaii, it's unlike our other two events. The one in Iceland and one in Alaska have really cold swims where there's a bunch of wetsuit, and then swim caps and booties and gloves and all that kind of stuff that are recommended or mandatory. For this event, the only thing really that's mandatory is goggles. I mean, obviously, we want you to wear the cap. That should probably be on there. The cap we give you for the race. We think it goes without saying. We're going to give you some type of either silicone or latex swim cap, and we expect you to wear that. It'll be really high res or high visibility, probably neon pink or neon orange or something like that, red. And that's just so we can see you in the water a little bit better. But other than that, just the goggles and obviously some type of swimsuit, whatever you want to wear. Recommendations would be to probably look at a swim skin. It helps tighten everything up, gets you a little more streamlined in the water, but it's just a recommendation. It's definitely not mandatory. So this swim is nice and clear and warm. I mean, I would definitely still bring a wetsuit because you never know. The temperatures have fluctuated somewhere between 78 and 82 in December in Hawaii. We've looked back quite a few years, and you never can really tell. It should be right around 80 no matter what, but it could drop just below what's too high for a wetsuit. So maybe, just maybe, they would be allowed. And if you're the kind of person that likes to have every advantage you can get, swimming with what I definitely would recommend is a sleeveless wetsuit if it's wetsuit legal, the temperature. Sleeveless would be the way to go in my opinion, but you'd certainly be permitted to wear whatever wetsuit you want should it be just cold enough to have one. But in any regard, it's going to hover around 80 and should be a great swim. Probably see some fish and sea turtles and stuff like that. Hapuna Beach is a great white sand beach. It's one of the only and most beautiful beaches on the Big Island. So we're definitely excited about the two-loop swim there. You'll do your two loops and actually get out of the water to start your second one and run around either a cone or some flags or something that we'll have on beach that we'll talk to you guys about before we start. But the one other recommendation I might make on goggles is I would at least bring to the start a clear pair, a tinted pair, and maybe just like a moderate, like one of the ones that are colored blue or something like that, like a mirrored pair that's real dark, a medium blue pair or some color, and then the clear. And then just before we start, look at how the sun is. I would imagine that it would probably be sunny, and then you'd go with the darkest pair, but you never know. Could be an overcast day. They're rare, but they do exist. So just give yourself that little bit of an advantage there, and yeah, go for there. That's all we have for the swim. Mandatory bike gear. So the bike gear that's mandatory is a lot like it's pretty much identical to the rest of the races we have. Of course, you have to have a helmet. This is a U.S. race. It is sanctioned by USA Triathlon, so you do have to have the sticker on the inside, the inspection sticker. So the difference is for a lot of you that are coming from out of country, and even if you're from Hawaii and you live there and everything, you may have a U.S. helmet. I think if you shop at any of the shops there that I went into, they're going to have all U.S. inspected helmets. But you never know what's coming in. You guys are, close to everywhere else outside the U.S. too. So just make sure that sticker on the inside, the inspection sticker, says U.S. before the other codes, the CPSC. It should have a U.S. before it, designated that it was inspected in the United States. Now, as I've said in some of the other videos, we get a little bit backlash on this every year. It's never changed. USA Triathlon sanctions our event. We get insurance through them. In order for that insurance to be legit, We have to abide by their standards. Their standards, as dictated by the insurance company that insures their events, is that it has to be U.S. inspected. I assume this is because it is a U.S. insurance company and it is USA Triathlon. I do understand that some of the inspection standards in different countries could possibly even be higher than the US, making the inspection better, maybe the helmet's safer, but that is not something that we're concerned with. We hope you have the safest helmet out there, obviously, but our concern is that that helmet has a US inspection sticker so that we adhere by the rules of USA Triathlon and our insurer. So if you are from out of country or in country even, and you don't have a helmet that has that, you have plenty of time to either borrow one, rent one, buy one if it comes to that, but we will not let you race unless it has that sticker. And I'm sorry to dedicate so much time to that, but it seems to be a point that's lost throughout the years, so we want to make sure that's absolutely clear. All right, moving on. The high visibility reflective tops. I have some examples here of what is acceptable and what's not, so let me pull them up. This top here, as you can see, is, and so here's the deal with Alaska and Iceland, it's colder. So people wear, vests or jackets or whatever. In Hawaii, you're going to start out at sea level and it's going to be warm. Odds are it'll be somewhere between 75, 80, whatever at the start of the race. Humid, and you will really not want to put on a vest or anything like that. It's your prerogative what you want to put on, but just know that when you climb upwards of almost 7,000 feet on the first climb to the top before you descend and then come back ultimately, it gets cold, windy, rainy, foggy. The weather kind of goes nuts up there at the base of Mauna Kea, which is where you're heading, to the base of Mauna Kea, then down and back up. So our recommendation is if you have a wind vest or something, or arm warmers or something to keep warm, and you want to just wear your normal tri gear or a cycling outfit, that's fine. Put something in the pockets so that if you don't have support or your support isn't around or whatever it is, because it's not mandatory on the bike at this event, just keep in mind that you may get very, very cold at the top of of the mountain or the base of the mountain. So that being said, whether your kit, outfit, whatever you want to call it, looks like this picture I have up here, this red and blue one, or you have a vest on that looks like this, whatever it is, this is not acceptable. You might ask yourself why. It's bright, it's red, it's blue, it stands out. That's ridiculous. Why isn't that acceptable? Well, red and blue actually on the spectrum from a long ways away are not as visible as you would think. That's the reason that construction companies use the safety green or that bright yellow, whatever you want to call it, and the bright fluorescent orange, because those are far more visible. Green is actually, fluorescent green is the most visible color out there, believe it or not. So that being said, this doesn't have reflective properties. It's not those colors. It's not meant for visibility. I mean, yeah, it's bright, but that's probably more of a design thing on this. So we would ask that if you wore this, yes, it does have some color, so at least they can see it, but we need you to stand out from further away. So if you were going to wear this and you didn't want to put something like this on over the top, like a full-on reflective neon vest, that you at least wear something minimal like this over top of it, or even the least you could go is these reflective bright neon suspenders, which are very minimal. These are only okay to wear if you have a bright top like this underneath. Bright meaning the colors. So what you're essentially doing is you're wearing a reflective neon something piece over a colorful top, let's call it that. If you were to have an all black outfit and wear these suspenders, that's not acceptable. Okay. And I know this is very specific, but guys, we've gone through a lot of this on major highways in Alaska. This is the first year for Hawaii, but I guarantee this highway in Hawaii, Saddle Road, actually, as it were, it definitely is not as busy and dangerous as Alaska. So we're just going to carry that over. We're going to keep you as safe as we can out there. So you're going to wear these suspenders over this. Now, if you don't want to do that, you want to just be bright from the beginning and not worry about all that, you could just do something like this orange vest here. These are cycling vests, and they have reflective properties on them. You can see the elements they have that reflect. This one's probably a little baggier, not as aerodynamic. Depending on what size you get, some of these are baggy and blow in the wind. Some of them are tight. This one, depending on what you wore underneath it, I'd still like something bright underneath it. It's pretty minimal, but it has some coverage. It's definitely better than the Suspenders. This one, you could wear whatever you want underneath. It's a little wider. It has a lot more coverage. This one definitely. And all these, again, bright and reflective. This is just a straight up construction vest. They're super cheap. They're like, I think, $10 you can buy them. So if you don't care about your aerodynamics and the competition of it all, and you're out there for the experience and the adventure, you don't want to spend a lot of money and you don't really care if it flaps in the wind the whole time, then by all means, this is acceptable. I saw people with this at Norseman the year that I did that. Here's some more cycling vests. This is an example of what's not acceptable. Yes, it's bright, but again, it's not one of those super visible colors. So you could wear this with the Suspenders, but you cannot wear this by itself. Okay. And then one of the other things that's definitely acceptable, but is heavy, hot, and probably not that aerodynamic are full on like fitted construction vests. So it's up to you what you want to wear, but I think you guys get the point of what's acceptable and what's not. If you have a tri-kit, and I haven't seen them, but if you have a tri-kit that's a bright neon color like the yellow or the orange, and it's got reflective pieces and you're not quite sure if it'll work or not, you're certainly welcome to private message us. We prefer an email, but email, private message, post it up. If you don't get a response directly from us, then you need to make sure you get that if you're wondering if it's acceptable or not. Someone in a group that's done the race or thinks they know telling you yes or no likely isn't going to cut it. So make sure that you get the okay from us if you're borderline. But if it's anything like this, you don't need the approval. You know it's right. And we're going to move on from there. Okay. All right. So lights. This is really simple. You have to have a bright white solid light on the front of your bike at all times and a blinking red on the back. The issues that come up, the blinking red on the back, a lot of times people go with the absolute cheapest they can get. And although that is technically good enough, I do not recommend it. We are not giving you these mandatory items that you have to have on this list as a punishment, guys. We're trying to keep you safe, not only for the longevity of the race, but obviously our first and foremost concern is that you come out of this healthy, non-injured, and okay. So don't go with the bare minimums on this. You don't have to go all out and spend a ton of money. But you can spend a little bit. I mean, you guys are already coming on a trip out there. You've probably spent a fair amount of money. A little bit more to have even more safety out there for yourself is not money that's spent poorly. And you can reuse these things. A lot of you guys, most of you guys, ride outside, bad conditions or busy roads, whatever. You can just add to your arsenal as far as safety. So these lights. Let's go with the red one. The red one in the back, I'd go with like a double blinking red or a really bright one. I would stay away personally from the Bluetooth, the rechargeable ones. I've had those in the past, and sometimes they're good, but their battery life is 4 or 5 hours. This bike will take almost all of you a lot longer than that. This is going to be probably the most brutal bike you've done in your entire life. So I would say that for me, I had a double blinking red light at both my X-Tris. There was like a watch battery, I think, in one, and then maybe a AAA in the other one. They were two different lights, kind of the same result, but they lasted forever. The whole race, I forgot to turn it off. 2-3 weeks later, I finally unpacked my bike from the trip. It was still on and going. So the batteries and those minimal usage lights that are really bright tend to be the best for the red blinkers. The white, bright front constant light is going to be the issue for most of you. That light, I have not seen any battery operated ones. They're always the rechargeable batteries, the lithium. So I would say that you need to get high lumen for those, so they're nice and bright. But you have to find that balance between the high lumen that works really well and is super visible but has the longest battery you can get. I've seen 4, 5, 6 hours. I haven't seen many that are longer than that. So what I would recommend, there's 2 options that you can do. You can carry 2 of them. One in the support car if you have support, or one in your back pocket if you don't, or however, you can carry it in there even if you have support. But have an extra light that's fully charged on you. A lot of these have mounts that you can clip them in and out really easy, super quick. So all you have to do is run your hand in front of the light every so often that you think it might be out. Make sure it's on. If it's not, pull off the side of the road, swap them out if you have one on you, or next time you see support, if you have support, swap the light out. You can do that. And this is not a very good option. I don't recommend this next option I'm saying, but the other option would be to, we also it's mandatory to have your cell phones. So you're going to run into the same issue with your cell phones as you do with this light, is that the battery is going to run out. You can have a replacement light pretty easily, but you can't have a replacement cell phone most likely. So your option with the cell phones, they have really small little the portable batteries now that years ago they used to be like 50 to $100 and they would charge your phone once, but they have big ones now and they charge your phone like 100 times or whatever. But they have really small ones that are cheap. I think I saw them for like $10 and they guarantee to charge your phone once or twice. Those you could carry on you, whether it's the bike or the run, and probably not even know they're there. A lot of times they'll come with a cord. So all you have to do with the phone is for my X-Tris, I just carried a very small battery with a cord. I had it on the phone as soon as the phone got low at all. I wrapped it around the battery, kept it nice and compact, and put it in a pocket that I knew was tight, that wasn't going to jump around on me too much. And it kept my phone charged the whole time, no problems. I didn't even know it was there. Yes, logistically, it's kind of a pain and there's more stuff you're carrying, but at the end of the day, that's part of the experience. These are required, so you guys need to deal with that. Now, as far as how that pertains to the light, worst case scenario, if you really wanted to MacGyver it up, you could somehow, mount an external battery with a cord to your light and charge it on the go. I definitely don't recommend that. I would just go with the second light, or find one if you can that lasts 6, 7, 8 hours, and you should be good. But those lights are going to be especially important as you get up towards Mauna Kea and it's foggy. They're definitely going to be important for those of you that are coming in around sunset, because a lot of you, if not most of you, will be coming in around sunset. You'll need every second of that bike you can get. So I would definitely say that you have to keep that in mind. Hydration, nutrition. Keep in mind, guys, if you have support out there and they're stopping every so often with the mileage, they can stop after 35 miles, and you can get nutrition from them. So if you carry enough to get you like, 1.5 to 2 hours, that should be sufficient if you have support out there. For those of you that aren't doing support, you need to carry enough to get to the station at mile, I believe it's 42. We're not 100% right now where it's going to be. It'll be between 35 and 42, but that station will be huge. It's self-serve as of now. We'll try to get volunteers out there, but there should be no reason. You guys are going to need to get off your bike probably and stretch at that point. It's the top of that first climb. We're just not 100% where that's going to be yet. It should be at the base of Mauna Kea by Puahuahua, which is a parking lot on the eastbound side of the road. And so we'll show you that in the coming meetings here and on some posts and stuff. But my point is, if you do not have support, you need to have enough on you and be able to carry enough to get to that point, refuel, and make it the rest of the way. Now, technically, on the way back, you're on the other side of the road. You're going to pass by this. If you were in trouble and you needed some more nutrition or hydration, you could cross the road there, but you would have to be very, very careful. And, that's a highway. So we do not recommend that. We're not telling you that you should do that, but in an emergency, you could get some more if you had to on the way back through. But that is the only hydration nutrition stop on the course for those of you that do not have support. So keep in mind, that's your only stop. You've got to carry a lot on that bike. Okay. Cell phones I already went over. Basic first aid kit. We're not talking about being able to, dress a huge wound or anything like that. If it's serious, you're going to call either support or race staff, or if it's serious enough, I would just call 911 right away and get someone there taken care of. That's in an extreme case where you need help. That's always your first line of defense and safety is to call 911 and then try and call us if you can. But this basic first aid kit is just, a couple bandages, maybe a little bit of gauze if you want to throw some Neosporin or something in there, that's fine. Something that's very small, it'll fit in a pocket somewhere and you might even forget it's there. It doesn't stick out or anything like that. We're not asking you to, be doctors out there. So if you do have support, I would say carry a bigger first aid kit in the support vehicle so they can help you if there was some road rash or something like that. And that's about it on the bike. So one thing that I didn't see that's left off of here, we do make it mandatory that you have to have either a face shield or sunglasses or something for debris purposes. So that can be clear on a cloudy day. They can be actual sunglasses that have a dark tint to them on a sunny day, whatever you want. But your face does have to be protected. Your eyes do. Okay. So I may remember a couple recommended things in here. Oh, toilet paper is another thing on the run and on the bike. There's restrooms at the resort, which is the swim, T1, T2, and the finish. Aside from that, there are a couple restrooms on the bike that we do not put out there. They're actual like pull-offs, scenic pull-offs. The main, assuming we put the hydration, nutrition stop and medical at Pua Hua Hua, there's a restroom there. But other than that, there's only one restroom I can remember that's on the other side of Saddle Road coming back the other way. So you're talking about two actual restrooms on the bike. Nature is your toilet. And what I mean by that is if you have to go, you have to go. It's all biodegradable. So should be the toilet paper. Now, that being said, do not use anything you don't have to. We expect you to bury it. We expect you to keep it out of sight. We expect you not to put on a display. If you can make it back, kind of tuck yourself off the road a little bit safely, and I emphasize safely, please do so. We don't want to make a scene out there, but having to go is having to go. You should not leave anything behind that's plastic or non-biodegradable. If you have, and we talk about things like bananas too, and this doesn't have anything to do with the toilet paper, but banana peels, yeah, they're biodegradable, but we don't want to leave stuff like that out there. Okay. If you know that's not going to be gone from, rain or anything within a week or two, and or if it's very visible, we need to take it with us. As long as it's not super gross. So just keep that in mind, guys, as you're going through this whole thing. I would not just carry toilet. I would carry toilet paper in the support car if you have support, but I would definitely not just carry it in there. I would always have a plastic bag sealed from the elements with a good amount of toilet paper carried on me from the second I get on my bike till I finish the race. Okay. Down onto the run, mandatory gear. Again, hydration, nutrition packs. Some of you are going to have support and they have to have their own as well if you have support. So they have to take care of themselves, but you can also make them your mule and make them carry even more than they need for themselves so that you have extra. Keep in mind that we're going to have hydration, nutrition stops on the run about every 10K. I stress about, it won't be exact, maybe a little less, a little more, but we should have them about every 10K out there. So you need to, whether you have support or not, be able to make it every 10K, 6.2 miles or so. Between there, you should be able to carry enough on you to be okay. Keep in mind, you need to calculate out worst case scenario. Don't be calculating out what your A goal is. Oh, if my A goal is to run 9-minute miles for this or 8-minute miles, I don't want you to calculate with that because more than likely that's not going to happen. Calculate your worst case. If your worst case you think is walking, calculate out what 6 miles will take you at your walking pace. And that's what you need to think about, how many calories and what kind of hydration you need to have on you to support yourself at a walking pace through and time, how much time goes by over that 6 miles, not prime conditions. Okay. That way you're safe. Plan for the worst, hope for the best. Cell phones, same deal. Just make sure they're charged, whatever that means, however you do it. We are going to make sure that you have a tracking app called RaceJoy on your cell phone, and we'll go over that in some more tutorials in the future, and we'll show you before the race. We're going to skip lights, and I'll come back to that in a minute. Basic first aid, same thing you had on the bike. You can either just carry that with you, grab it out of, if you switch clothes, just grab it out of your cycling kit or whatever, or maybe just have a separate one set up, whatever you want to do. A whistle and a compass. A whistle, you may never need it. Most likely you won't. But if you get off-road somewhere for some reason, or you're in a spot where someone can't see you, or I don't know where that would be, but better to have it than not. And you can blow the whistle real loud. Hopefully someone hears you if you need help. And then the compass, I can't see you needing for this race, but that can just be an app on your phone. Just make sure you have a compass app downloaded. Most of the phones come with it without even having to download. Just make sure you have that, you know how to use it. So those two are pretty simple, probably things you'll never need. Now, going back to the main thing on the run is lights. So most of you are going to get off the bike, and unlike Iceland and Hawaii, where you're so far north, close to the Arctic Circle, that it's light all the time. I mean, even midnight, it's still pretty light outside. And between midnight and 2 o'clock up there, it's just kind of this darkness with a glow to it. So there's a lot of ambient light you can still see. It is not like that in Hawaii. I think the sun sets like 7 o'clock or 6:30 or whatever it is. That's our bike cutoff. Is the when you look at that, that's why we have the bike cutoff. Then we don't want you guys on the road. Your lights have already maxed out their batteries. Um, we don't want you on the road after dark. So that's why the cutoff's there. Most of you will start your run just before or at sunset, and it's beautiful. I was blown away every time. I am blown away every time I see a Hawaiian sunset. So really enjoy that, soak it up. But soon after you start running and that goes down, it's going to be pitch black out there. When I mean pitch black, it is very, very dark. Originally, our course went towards Waimea, but after testing that out, not only is that course twice as brutal as the one we have you on now, there were quite a few people there, surprisingly, that came in and off their work shifts a couple times during when Lars ran it. And for as remote as it was extremely busy. And there were a lot of blind turns and stuff. So we decided to adjust the course, especially being first year. The bike's going to be brutal. A lot of you will barely make it in. So we don't want to make it an impossible race. So not only did we adjust it because of the traffic, we adjusted it because this course is a little less intense on the climbing, although it's still, I think, 1,600 feet of climbing. So you're basically going to just follow the Queen K all the way up towards Hy-Vee. You'll turn around. It's an out and back course. You'll turn around before you get up there. So you'll start climbing pretty much. You'll do a little loop around a golf course / neighborhood as you exit out. And when you do that, you'll get onto the Queen K and you'll just climb all the way up. So it'll turn dark. I started going over the course a little there, guys. That's not what this one's about. I'm go back to the lights. So it'll start getting dark. You'll be climbing. We need lights. We need you lit up. I mean, you need to look like a UFO out there. We need to see you a mile away, because if we can't see you and we're looking for you, cars that aren't going to look for you definitely can't see you. So these are the light. These are what I recommend. And I've tried to work a sponsorship with these guys. They're really nice. The thing is, they don't go much lower on the sponsorships than as far as like for you guys. They may donate some to us to use for our crew and stuff. But as far as taking a lot of money off, what they offer us is about the same as the sales they run themselves. So instead of going through all that, I mean, we're going to really plug their product because I believe in it. I've worn it night running for a while, and it's amazing. It's great. The battery lasts forever, and they're super bright. They have these reflective suspenders. They have all kinds of stuff. So I would check it out. They have always have a sale going on. If they don't, I would wait, or even just email them. Tell them you missed the sale. Can they honor it? If they can't, just wait. One will pop up soon enough. But these Nox Gear running vests are amazing. And they look kind of big, like they'd flop around. They don't. They are so light, you would be so surprised. You do not even know these things are on. I've run with them a while. I highly recommend them. And for our event, it's a one-stop shop. You don't have to have anything on your shoes, your wrists, your hands. You have this on, fresh batteries in it, and it should last the entire time. Now, what I would do, I think they're AAAs. I would just put a couple AAAs are full in your pocket just in case. But I think the battery life's like 30 or 40 hours or more or something like that. So you should be all right. But these are awesome. They look really cool out there. They're kind of fun to run with, especially at night if you're changing colors. But we can see you forever. So I would definitely recommend these. It would be really cool to have most of you guys in these out there, not just for your own safety, but for our videos and pictures. It'd be pretty sweet. So other than that, the things you can get are just like the shoe lights and the wrist lights, or there's a number of other things like hat lights and things like that. I would say that it's not okay to just have shoe lights on their own. It's not okay to just have a headlamp on its own. I mean, if you have like the best headlamp out there and it costs you close to $1,000, like I've seen those where they light up like a car light. The only thing with that is it's maybe even too bright. Some of those look brighter than cars. But at the end of the day, we need something flashing that says hazard too. So just if you have any doubts and you think it's good, send it to me. Let us know. We'll check it out. But again, I recommend these. Ideally for you, what I would say to do is maybe get this and wear a headlamp, because then you can see where you're running on the ground in front of you. A small headlamp would do, and then have this just so we can see you, and you're good to go. So, all right, I am rambling, guys. So that's about it as far as what I can think of. If I think of anything else, I'll let you guys know. If you have questions, please let us know. But that's it for this webinar on the mandatory gear of Hawaii. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.